Hello, everybody. Murr here. Good morning. I hope you are doing well wherever you are in the world. I'm so excited this morning because I'm going to be going live momentarily with a much more successful selling author than me and a man who needs no introduction. He's far more accomplished in his life and life in general and in most people's lives certainly than me and the guys from Impractical Jokers. But Jocko Willink is joining me momentarily. Of course, you know, he is a decorated Navy officer, retired after 20 years of service to our country. You're awesome. And of course, a New York Times bestselling author. He has a new fiction book coming out this fall, a thriller, just like I do, from St. Martin's Press. I'm very, very excited. So in a moment, I'm going to try to figure this out. We'll do it together, guys, because sometimes I don't have luck with requesting people to join me live. I'll figure it out how to do it. And hopefully it'll all work out. I'll try. Let me see if I can figure this out. Now I go here. Who's watching? There he is. Okay. Now request to following. Go live with Jocko. Okay, here we go. Going live with Jocko. I think I figured it out. Let's see. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it works. I just requested him. Hello, sir.
We did it.
We did it. We figured it out. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you doing?
I'm great. It is such an honor to meet you. I have watched tons of your videos, by the way, before. I'm a huge action movie buff, you know, and I'm a sucker for all videos about whether this stuff is real or not, you know what I mean? And your breakdowns of like action movies and how real or not real they are is so good.
Right on. Well, I appreciate it. That was a weird because this company called GQ, which is a magazine for what men wear on their body
yeah,
and how they fashion their hair.
Yeah.
And I have no authority on hair fashioning nor on what you should wear. And they asked me to do a video with them, but it was funny. Yep.
Yeah. GQ is one of those magazines I will never be in, but so I you know. So I have to tell you, Jocko, first is, of course, for any of the Jokers fans that don't know Jocko and vice versa, any of the Jocko fans that don't know Impractical Jokers, I guess we'll do like a little bit of an introduction. I'm Murr from Impractical Jokers. Hello, all Jocko fans. I'm one of the four. I'm the skinniest one, the boldest one of the show, and I'm the one that embarrasses myself probably the most out of the four of us. And of course, Jocko, my friend, we are both celebrated. Authors, him far more successful than I am, and clearly a much better looking individual than I am too. We have a similar haircut though, but yeah, you're holding on to it much better than I am. So, and of course, a decorated Navy officer. Thank you, by the way, for your service for 20 years. I appreciate that.
Right on. Well,
so I did a little. I thought it'd be fun to do a simple Google search of both of us just to see what, you know how Google has that autofill feature when you type in your names, right? Yeah. So I wanted just to start, before we talk about books and stuff, I wanted to show you the difference between, see what brings us together as humans is there's far more things that join us than separate us, I think, right? That being said, Google doesn't necessarily think so. Okay. So when I type in, does Jocko Willink blank, here's what Google autofills as one of the top three. Does Jocko Willink have a black belt? Does Jocko Willink work out every day? And does Jocko Willink have a wife? All very solid answers. When you type in my name on Google, the first three that come up are, does James Murray like being bald? Does James Murray have fake teeth? Which I do have 8 fake teeth. And does James Murray not like salvo caddo? Who's one of the that's it. That shows you the differences between you and I, my friend.
Right on. That's it for sure. So you have 8 fake teeth?
I do. You know, my mother, God bless her. What is your family's ethnic background, if you mind me asking?
I guess Dutch.
Dutch.
British. The kind of just your average Northern European mutt.
Got it. My mother, God bless her, is a short little firecracker of a Sicilian woman who, for some reason, just didn't understand nutrition very well. And I swear, as a kid, she would give us each a tub of Duncan Hines frosting to eat just to quiet us, right? So I think only about 2 months ago did I finally come down off the sugar high from childhood, you know?
Well... from dental, see, I have this I I got this gap in my front two teeth. And, you know, it's just one of those things. I never had braces or anything like that. But, you know, I was talking to this girl one time in this bar before I was married. And I'm talking to her and she says, you know, I'm a dental technician. And, you know, if you want, you know, I could get you an appointment. We could actually get that thing fixed. And I said, oh, really? You think you could make it bigger?
Yeah. Yeah, making it bigger makes it more badass. That's like your signature. That's like, you know, that's like your, I don't know, you seem more intimidating with the gap,
That's
right? If I were, I will never be, because you know, look at me. I look like a string bean, right? But if I were ever on the battlefield and I saw you opposite me, I would join your side. I really would.
Well, there you go.
I would want to be on your side for sure.
Right on, man. And just imagine.
So this is exciting, man. What's that, bud? What's that? I'm sorry.
I said, just imagine if this gap between my teeth was like 3/4 of an inch, you'd be even more intimidated.
That's right. I feel like we would have won every war ever. So this is very exciting. You and I, of course, Jocko has a very celebrated podcast as well. If you don't subscribe to it, check it out. It's awesome. And we both have books coming out this fall from St. Martin's, which is very exciting. And this is a cool book for you because obviously we all know, I mean, you've hit #1 in the New York Times, of course. Your first book was what? Extreme Ownership, right?
Yep.
Which is, I just watched yesterday your the TED Talk thing that you did about extreme ownership. Man, it was awesome. It's so cool. And I would venture to say, again, even though you and I live somewhat different lives, I would venture to say there's much more that binds us than separates us. And here's why. Of course, you preach about extreme ownership and how important it is in your life to take responsibility for all the successes, but most importantly, to override your ego and take responsibility for your failures in life, right? I think that Jokers is that as well. At the end of Impractical Jokers, every episode, we have to take extreme ownership of our failures that episode, and they've made me do things like get 2 prostate exams on live T, save my eyebrows because of my failures, which is still my driver's license. They made me for 3 months grow out my nipples, and I had to only grow out my nipples and save. This is extreme ownership in action, my friend. You and I are much more similar than you realize.
These are very disturbing events. I'm glad I'm not friends with you any closer.
Jocko, tell us about Final Spin, your first fiction book coming out this fall.
Yeah, so this is a book. It's kind of an interesting book. I think it'll be. I'm not sure what people will think of it. It's about 2 brothers. One of the brothers is kind of this street smart kid and kind of a handsome kid, and his older brother is a kid that has some kind of mental issue. You know, I would say it's sort of on the spectrum of autism, and he's a little bit awkward, socially awkward. And what he really loves in life is laundry and laundry machines and washing detergent. And he actually works in a laundromat, so everything's pretty good in his life because he's just very happy to be there folding clothes and emptying the coins out of the laundry machines. And the people that own the laundromat eventually decide they're going to sell the laundromat. And this street smart kid who works at a big box store. He's a stock boy at night. He's like 23 years old, working as a stock boy. And when he finds out that they're going to sell this laundromat, that the owner of the laundromat's going to sell the laundromat, he's really distraught because he knows his brother's not going to be able to be happy in life without this one thing that he loves. And so this kid, the younger brother, decides he's going to get the money to buy the laundromat. The only way he can do that is to steal it. And so him and his best friend come up with a plan to steal the money that they can buy the laundromat, and things don't always go as planned. And it goes from there. Interesting. So it's like a thriller. It's going to keep you riveted to the end, I assume? Yeah, you know, it is. And so I just got done recording the audiobook, and I was pretty recording the audiobook because really not that many people have seen it, you know, other than my people at the publisher. And so I had this woman named Deb, who was the audio engineer that was sitting there, you know, running the dials and everything as I was reading the book. And I could see her through the glass as I'm reading it. And, you know, some parts funny and she's laughing, and some parts are kind of exciting and she's cheering, and then it gets pretty sad at some points, and she was just openly weeping and crying.
Wow.
It was kind of cool, and that made me feel good that I was able to kind of hit the mark and touch the first person that's heard it. She was definitely engaged in it, and she loved it. And so that's a good first impression from the first person that's got to listen or read the book.
That's great. So I'll tell you a funny story. So I've read The Stowaway is my fifth book. The first three books, actually the first four, I did the audiobook for. The Awaken trilogy and Don't Move. I read the voice of the characters and everything. And if you don't know at home, when you record an audiobook, and Jocko, I'm sure you know this, you go into this little teeny sound booth, which for me is fine because I weigh about 90 pounds. For you, it's probably much more tight, right? So you go into this tiny little sound booth that barely has air conditioning because they need to record the sound. So you sit there for like 7 hours a day, 8 hours a day, and you bang it out for like 3-4 days in a row, and you've got to go back and you screw up. And it's a weird skill because you've got to be able to read ahead while still speaking the words that are on the screen in front of you. It's a weird thing so that you know how to deliver the end of each sentence and each paragraph in a strong way. It really is. I have nothing but the greatest respect for individuals that do that for a living. It's hard as F. Anyways, one of the Impractical Joker's punishment ideas was for Sal to have to be forced to read my audiobook for my new book for a week because he hates confined spaces, he hates sweat, he hates germs, everything. It would be a disaster for him to have to read someone else's audiobook, especially the words I've written. You know.
So is that what's going to happen?
No, well, we had the idea, but I'd already finished the book, and I didn't record the audio for The Stowaway. But during the pandemic, I had to go on Amazon, and I bought my closet is full of all these sound baffles because I had to turn this exact room we're in into a mock sound booth in order to keep recording the audiobooks. My wife was not happy with me. There was everything everywhere. I covered every inch of this office to record the audiobook.
So what's your book about? Your newest book?
So The Stowaway is right here. I just got the book in the mail yesterday from the publisher, the actual real one, which is very exciting. The Stowaway, yes, very good. The Stowaway is a thriller set on the high seas. So it starts 2 years earlier. A woman named Maria Fontana is the juror in a serial killer case. This gentleman is accused of killing a number of children in this horrific way. And at the end of the trial, it comes down to one vote. She can't bring herself to find him guilty because of a number of extenuating circumstances and circumstantial evidence. The guy goes free. 2 years later, she's on a transatlantic cruise with her two twin children and her fiance, Steve. Halfway across the Atlantic, 3 days in any direction, in any direction from land or from help, people start disappearing on the boat. And she starts to notice the killer's MO from 2 years earlier when she was a juror. His symbol carved in the deck of the ship, little details that only she knows from the case 2 years earlier. And it occurs to her, is he on the boat? Is it a copycat? Or is it something entirely different? And as people start disappearing one by one on the cruise, it's up to her to stop him and uncover the truth before he kills again. So that's The Stowaway. It will keep you guessing until the very last page who the killer is and what the real story is. And it's a great setup for a sequel to which you'll love. That's it. Our first big mystery. We've done horror. We've done sci-fi thriller. This is my first mystery. So there you go. It's kind of like Silence of the Lambs meets Royal Caribbean.
How long did it take you to write it?
You know, we've gotten it down pretty fast at this point. The hardest part, I'd like to hear your process too, but the hardest part for us is we lock ourselves in like a room for like 3 days and bang out all the beats of the story, you know, what happens, characters, motivations. And then when you see it on paper, you're like, okay, problem. And you have to start, you know, plugging the holes. And the writing maybe takes 2 months, but because we film Jokers all the time, I don't really have much more time. That's while filming the TV show and stuff like that. So we stay pretty focused and bang out maybe 2-3 chapters a day and get it done. So how about you? How was it writing your first fiction? What was the process like?
It was pretty cool. I had the idea in my head, and for me, I always kind of know what I'm going to write, and then it's just a matter of, it's almost like manual labor is just typing, because I already know what the words are and I don't have to think about too much, and I just sit there and the words I just type them. So, and I don't like to work at a computer writing for long periods of time. So I do basically an hour a day. I write about 1,000 words a day. And so I'm going until I'm done.
That's exactly what R.L. Stine does. He writes 7 days a week, and he's a dear friend of mine. He writes 7 days a week to this day. At his peak, he was banging out 3 books a month. That is discipline.
Yeah.
3 books a month. As recently as 10 years ago. That is discipline. And he does exactly the same amount of work a day, like you. He would write like 10,000 words and stop, or 8,000, whatever the number was, 5,000 words, 1,000 words. And he would stop, and that's it. And then if he got done at noon, he was done at noon. If he took him until 2, it was 2. And when he hit that word count, even if he was in the middle of a sentence, he finishes. Isn't that wild? I love that work ethic,
Yeah, no, I don't enjoy sitting in front of a computer enough to make my discipline of 1 or maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half a day. I would have a hard time turning that into 6 or 7 hours a day of writing. That would drive me crazy.
Do you have a guilty pleasure you do to take a break from writing?
I'll usually try and set up my day so that I do something physical and then something mental and then something physical and then something mental. Being cooped up in an office or sitting at my desk, or I stand a lot, but work, but I try and do something where I get away from it. I'll go out. I shoot archery, so I'll go out and shoot archery. I'll go for a run. I'll just go outside and just look off in the distance, at the horizon, instead of looking at things that are this far away, which drives me.
Yeah. So is this a crazy idea? So my wife and I just got back from Montana a few days ago, right? We went on vacation, and they had archery, and we got to do it, and it was amazing. Is it foolish for me to build an archery course in my yard?
No,
because
no.
It is legal. Not every state is. You have to check the laws, because I guess you could kill somebody. But there's only on one side of my property is a school, so I do worry about that. And then there's neighbors on the other side, but there's 2 rows on the other side. So if I aim it toward the roads, we should be fine. The odds are very slim that I could miss the target.
You can probably set up a course, at least a couple targets that are totally safe. Have the back one target be like the wall of your house or the back of your garage or something like that, and find some terrain. Maybe there's a little knoll or something you can put them. Yeah, you should be able to do that, no problem.
All right. Oh, good. You heard it here first, guys. If you know a good lawyer, by the way, Jocko, when I accidentally, hit some kid in the leg, let me know. I'm going to need some help soon. But, well, anyways, guys, I don't want to keep it much longer. Jocko, it's awesome meeting you, buddy. Make sure if you're out there, check out Final Spin coming out this fall from St. Martin's Press. You can pre-order it right now anywhere books are sold. I have a copy as well, and I'm going to be reading it this fall too. And of course, the So Way comes out in 3 weeks from now. You can pre-order it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble, wherever books are sold as well. And my friend, I have to come on your podcast at some point.
Come on out. I'm out here in San Diego, California.
All right. Next time, we're going to be there for the guys that are out in San Diego on tour in a few months. I'll let you know. And I'd love to come by and record it with you.
Awesome, man.
All right, man. Have a great morning. Take care. Thanks, everybody.
We'll talk to you later.
You got it, bud. Bye.